Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Today's video, we're going to look at the mistakes that are aging us. They're not obvious, but they're very impactful. We're going to be touching upon the mistakes that affect each of our routines in fundamental ways. So with that, let's get started. Mistake number one is lack of consistency. And I know for myself that the most important thing I can do for myself is to try to remain as consistent as possible. Let's look first of all at exercise routines. As I've said many times, I'm a real lover of Bar 3. Before COVID, I did it in studio, and since COVID, I do Bar 3 online. But just like you with your exercise routine, I imagine sometimes you just don't want to do it. So I've developed for myself a very simple routine that doesn't take me more than 10 minutes to do, but I find I have effectively exercised my upper arms, my shoulders, and my legs and my calves front and back. Now obviously it's a routine of repetition. So the more repetition you employ, the longer the exercise will take to complete. For your use, I have time-stamped, and it should appear now on the screen, where on this video I have shown you this exercise routine in an abbreviated format. But at least I've tried to share with you, these are the exercises that I do on repeat when I find that I just need a change, I don't have a lot of time, I don't have a computer, and I don't have any equipment handy. I'm hoping that you're going to find that the addition of this little routine, if you like it, makes you just a little bit more consistent. Let's stay with consistency, and this time let's talk about skincare. I am hearing from many of you that you're really good about doing skincare consistently in the morning, but not so good in the nighttime. Especially if you're feeling overtired, overworked. You might just find that when you get to the end of the day when it's bedtime, you just can't be bothered and you clean your teeth and flop into bed. I get this. It's because I felt so much the same way that I've developed a little trick for myself. So on the days that I'm really overtired and I'm worried that I'm just not going to give enough attention to doing my nighttime routine properly, I will do my nighttime routine early. I hate to admit this, but I've even been known to do my nighttime routine before I've prepared the evening meal. I'll come home, I'll pull my hair back, I'll double cleanse, get rid of my makeup, I'll put on my evening skincare, I've put on my moisturizer, I'm all ready for bed. The only thing I don't do, of course, is clean my teeth. But if I know I'm tired and I know there's a risk that I won't do my nighttime routine properly, I will let myself do it just a little bit early. I know how important it is to be consistent with my skincare routine, morning and night. Mistake number two is a lack of understanding. Thinking you're doing the right thing, having the best intentions, but simply not having enough of the facts. And this is regarding sunscreen. Frankly, here we are in August, and I've really been shocked to learn how much misunderstanding there is amongst my friends and amongst my family. I have family members that don't wear any sunscreen. I have friends that believe that wearing a foundation that has SPF in it is enough to protect their face. I'm afraid neither of those paths are correct. So I've decided to refer to the experts, and I am linking in the description box below an article that I refer to from the Skin Cancer Foundation. And I find they are very useful in helping me understand the answer to the question, how much sunscreen should I be applying to protect myself? So the article says very clearly exactly the amount that we should be applying. And they do it both in a measurement as well in a visual. I'm really a visual person. So I will talk about the measurement, and then I will share with you the visual that I find so helpful. First, let's talk about how much should we apply on our neck and face. Well, the answer to that is we should be applying 1/4 teaspoon. I'm really not so good about measuring in my hand without a teaspoon, but I am good at visualizing. And the article tells me I should be including a nickel size amount of sunscreen on my face and neck. I don't know about you, but that makes sense to me. The other thing the article says is that we should be applying at least 2 tablespoons to our face and body. Again, that measurement doesn't really mean a lot to me, but it does mean a lot to me when it says that is equivalent to a shot glass full. I can visualize how much there is in a shot glass. So personally, I find that really helpful. The article additionally reminds me every summer to seek shade, wear a hat, to not just wear fashion sunglasses, but to actually wear UV blocking sunglasses. And that's important whether you have brown or blue eyes. Mistake number 3 is don't wait too long. Address a problem the minute you spot it. And for me, this awareness is translated into how I had to address the fact that my hair was going to be a thinning problem. I have aunties that have dramatically balding heads, and that clearly in my family is female baldness. As soon as I saw that in my aunties, I discussed it with my dermatologist. And I recommend to you that if you're noticing it in your family, that you speak to your dermatologist as soon as possible. But at the very least, I thought I would share with you what I learned from my dermatologist, and as a result, how I treat my hair every night to try to prevent as much thinning as I possibly can. In 2014, the FDA approved Minoxidil for women that were experiencing thinning in their hair. My dermatologist suggested to me that I not use the Minoxidil that's specifically for women because it's identical to that available to the Minoxidil for men, except that it's a little more expensive. She even described it to me in terms of the pink tax. So clearly pharmaceutical companies realize that women are prepared to pay a little bit extra. Are we actually used to always paying a little bit extra for our clothing, for our cosmetics, for our pharmaceutical products? Perhaps we are. But she said there was no need in me paying that pink tax. She suggested that I buy Minoxidil in a liquid form at 5% strength, and I apply this liquid Minoxidil every single night. I do it by creating parts all around my head. I use the dropper that comes in the bottle. I apply it along those part lines, and I give my hair a little bit of a massage. I find that in the morning my hair is fine. It doesn't absolutely need to be shampooed, despite the fact that I've used the Minoxidil. And I find that it doesn't bother me but I need to share this important fact. You'll never heal by using minoxidil. Instead, you need to use that for the rest of your life. That doesn't bother me. I have found that if we are on vacation and I haven't used the minoxidil for a short period of time, I haven't suffered any consequences that were noticeable to me. But just the same, it doesn't bother me that I know that I'm going to have to use liquid minoxidil at 5% for the rest of my life. I will be including an article about minoxidil and the FDA approval that I received in 2014 in the description box below, just in case you need to look into it a little bit further, and I encourage you to do so. I have found, because of my thinning, that my hairline is no longer as beautifully thick as it once was. And sometimes I feel as though, I've lost in a little area here or a little bit there, and it makes me feel self-conscious. So I have found this touch-up pen, which I will link in the description box below, called Gray Away. It's made by EverPro Beauty, and its purpose is actually as a root touch-up. But I find if I have a little bit of an ugly balding spot that I want to disguise, if I just pop a little bit of this very easy, it's kind of like a crayon, on that spot, it does a pretty good job at making me feel as though I have eliminated the problem. Perhaps people notice, but at least it makes me feel a little bit more confident, despite the fact that I know in my family I am vulnerable to women's pattern baldness. That is mistake number 3, not addressing problems soon enough. Mistake number 4 is, even if your hair is not thinning, what are you doing differently to address the fact that your hair has definitely changed? Each of us has experienced hormonal changes, certainly changes in our hair coloring. We've noticed that our hair has suffered from damage over the years, whether it's from coloring it or using heat or simply just evolving. Regardless, our hair is different. Certainly my hair is much less oily. I used to have to wash my hair every single day. It's very fine and it was very oily. And if I didn't wash it every day, I looked like I had just come home from a very long run. So I have implemented some dramatic changes to how I wash my hair. And I wondered if you have done the same. Firstly, I'm using a much more gentle shampoo. Second, I'm washing it much less frequently. I've gone from shampooing every day to probably only washing 2 or 3 times a week. I also try, although I don't know how successful I am in this, to only wash the roots. I apply only the shampoo at the roots. I do a really good massaging of the scalp, and then I don't apply shampoo directly to the ends. I'm conscious of the fact that my ends are just so much drier and less shiny than they used to be. The other change I'm noticing in my hair, I find I describe my shaped face differently to my hairdresser. I don't find that saying I have an oval face or a heart-shaped face or a long face is as relevant as it used to be, because these days I'm really more interested in a haircut that addresses what I believe to be my most positive features in this wiser face and my less positive features. And I'm really interested in a hairdresser that's going to address those. Mistake number 5 is a lack of patience. I am not a patient person. I'm not patient in any part of my life, and I'm certainly not as patient as I learned I needed to be when I was introducing a new product into my skincare routine or a new electronic tool into my skincare routine. This video is not sponsored. I am simply sharing with you the devices that I have used, that I continue to enjoy, and that it's taken me longer than I expected to be able to say, I believe in these particular tools. My experience has been, it always takes me 6 months to see real impact. Whether it is with my Omnilux, which is my red light therapy mask, which I have been using and I absolutely love. I've seen real impact, but it took a good 6 months for me to see an impact. I use a Nira precision laser around my eyes, and I believe I've seen a real impact, but again, it's taken 6 months. And the third device that I use and believe in is the NuFace microcurrent. It's different than the other two because I believe NuFace, I see an immediate result, certainly on the lift of my brow and the smoothness around my eyes. I'm a real believer in each of those 3 devices, but in each case, it took me a little while to see the long-term impact that I was hoping for. Exercise number 1 are squats. I'm standing with my legs apart. My feet are pointing at, on the clock, 10 and 2. I put my hands on my hips, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm trying to reach to sit into a chair. I'm reaching to sit into a chair. My back is straight. My head and my neck are aligned, and I'm going to be conducting 3 sets of 10 in these squats. Exercise number 2 is mountain climbers. A wonderful, fun, I think, exercise for our upper arms. Putting ourselves in a plank position, hands on the outside of the mat, making sure we're beautifully aligned, pulling our legs up to our chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would then do 2 more sets of 10. Exercise number 3 is my version of the sit-up. 2 things I remind myself of when I'm doing this exercise. It's all about having beautiful alignment. Firstly, it's about the head. We never want to pull our head. It's our lower abdomen that's supposed to be doing all the work. So in order to keep myself honest in that way, I put my hands not behind my head, but rather at the temples. The second thing I keep in mind is alignment. Alignment is straight up into the air when my legs are extended. But if I decide to do it in a tabletop position, it's very important that my knees are directly over my hips. And I would go ahead and do 3 sets of 10. Let's do exercise number 5, which is holding a wall squat against the wall. Find a position against your wall. What we're trying to do is sit as straight as we can, as though we're sitting in a chair. Your thighs should be parallel to the ground. I like to hold my hands together in a peaceful position. I often concentrate on my breathing, and I count for 3 sets of 10. I'm not moving, it's just a holding position, and I concentrate on my breathing. I inhale through my nose and exhale out my mouth for 3 counts of 10. That's it for me. I hope that you found this video to be thought-provoking and maybe helpful. I hope you'll take a moment and read some of the articles that I've listed in the description box below. I believe that listening to the organizations that are set up to talk about skincare and approval of products is so much more valuable than just listening to your ordinary YouTuber. At least it is for me. Thank you for watching. I so appreciate your time. I hope you're well. Get up, get dressed, be happy. I can't wait to see you next Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.